So going into an intense job interview, I know that many of you would like to be more confident in your ability to handle well all that pressure. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 methods for you to consider for this specific goal, right? The first one would be to role play your interview answers with a friend, with a coach, especially for the purpose of becoming more confident. So what I found is when I work with candidates, the better we role play, the more confident that that person becomes in their ability to interview and to handle pressure. Of course, the shortcoming of such an approach is if you role play too much, you risk in certain instances for your answers to become more scripted, right? So you should know. The second method to become more confident for the purpose of a job interview would be to start answering lists with the most commonly asked questions. So for example, you take a list of 50 more commonly asked questions, and if you won't get stuck too many times, then you'll actually become more confident in your ability to interview. It's simple and it works. Now, the main danger of such an approach is that people prepare entire interviews using most commonly asked questions, which actually brings me to the third method that I recommend to prepare for an intense, to prepare on the motivational side and to be more confident during an intense interview. That is to build your own story bank, right? So I found throughout the years that people who have a story bank, I don't know, with 25 stories, which they revised at least 3 times, that are significantly more confident and, of course, pass interviews far more often. The advantage of such an approach, I believe, is clear, but the disadvantage of such an approach is that building a story bank, of course, is not straightforward for most people. So you must pass that something I call the critical chasm. When you, like I said, to have 25 stories and to revise them 3 times. If you only have 12 stories, which you never revise, then you're not going to be super confident because you won't pass that critical chasm, after which you will actually reap the rewards of such an approach, right? So story banks is the third method, highly efficient, highly recommended. The fourth method that I found during my coaching sessions, usually for senior and executive roles, to become a little bit more confident in your ability to interview, would be to take a deep dive into your strength and your weakness. And when I say this, I don't mean how to answer the interview question, what's your strength, what's your weakness, but what's your actual strength and weakness, your strength that you like to sell yourself on during the job interview, and the weakness that you'd want to avoid. So for instance, a weakness that some people have would be they hurry up with their answers during the job interview, especially during the follow-up. So they might get, they might do some monumental mistakes, right? So if you know yourself and you know that you are in this, you could be in this scenario, then probably, take appropriate measures, right? These would be the 4 methods I want to talk about here. So just to recap, to role play, most commonly asked questions, story bank, and which one? The weakness, the strengths and weakness. And last but not least, something you'd want to be aware of as well is you can also become overconfident in these job interviews. And, it's not a huge problem, but overconfidence is something that can also slide into arrogance if you want. So it's something you might also be aware of, especially for technical roles. I found this in particular. But long story short, this is how you get more confident and motivated for the purpose of an intense job interview. I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.